Okay, everybody. My name is Dan Welsh, Surrogates Dan. We are in week 2 of our shutdown regional updates, if you want to call them. Today's Cinco de Mayo, so everybody's drinking tequila. No, not everybody here.
Yes,
Yeah,
I am.
a lot of them are. And we've got retailers with us from Joel Schwartz's region out west, representing Arizona, Nevada, and Utah. And again, just trying to touch base with everybody about their shop in general and what they've been doing during the crisis. Joel's sitting at Big Sticks. He's actually much further away from Paul than he looks like. That's definitely
Paul is just a giant man.
6 to 8 feet away. Paul's very close to the computer. So, Joel, you want to go ahead and introduce everybody, and then we can.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. I brought some of my friends, some of my retailers along with us. So from Utah, we have Kendrick and Brandon from Beehive Cigars joining us. From Las Vegas, Nevada, and Henderson, Nevada, we have Michael and Shar from Fuego Cigars and Lounge.
Hey.
Right here in Mesa, I'm with Paul Booza. Down the road in Scottsdale, Arizona, we have Lenny from Ear Cigars.
Hello.
Joining us from Tucson, Arizona, we have Sal from Anthony's Cigar Emporium. Say hi, Sal.
Hello, how's everybody?
All right, and we also have Pete Johnson, obviously, and Casey Johnson of Tatuaje Cigars. So,
does it look like I'm on vacation?
Pete, you like to set the order. Who you thinking you want to hear from?
Well, let's find out what's going on in Utah.
Yeah, I'd be curious with Utah first.
All right.
Besides live concerts on Saturday night.
Yeah, so there's that. And then we've just been doing curbside pickup. We have a little booth set up at the front door. People show up and tell us what they want. Brandon's been really spearheading that. I'll let him talk about the day-to-day there.
Yeah, it's not that crazy.
Super
honestly.
interesting, Kendrick. Thanks for so much. Shut up.
Kendrick's all comfy at home right now. He's playing school teacher, all that while we run the shop.
Normally I'd be napping right now. So.
You guys are interrupting his nap time.
Thanks for that.
There we go.
No, it's been good. Utah, I think we've been lucky. The COVID thing didn't hit real hard. Obviously, it's here. We've had to adjust. We're doing curbside only, like Kendrick said. But honestly, sales we're up over last year. People are home with nothing to do. Why not smoke a cigar, right? You can't take that vacation you wanted to take. So an hour in the backyard with a Fausto, that's your vacation. So we've been doing well. We're looking at how long we're going to keep the curbside going. Utah's one of the states that's trying to reopen right now. So we'll see how that goes for a couple of weeks. See how many people start getting sick again. Who knows? But we'll adjust as we need to. But it's been good, man. No complaints, really.
How many shops are in Utah?
Like 3.
Yeah.
There's like 3 big retailers in Utah.
And they're all in Salt Lake, and they're all 10 minutes apart.
Yeah.
Really? They all open doing curbside?
Hey, Brandon, for anybody that doesn't know, you guys have a lounge there now. I mean, obviously closed right now, but at the shop, do you have a lounge outdoor?
So we had a lounge. We were Utah's only lounge for a while, and then Utah did some Utah stuff, and the lounge is currently not a thing. So we're always looking for ways to be creative. Right now, we actually just we pulled a page from Pete's book, and we just bought a bus.
How many wines do you have?
We're gonna see what we can do. Maybe spruce up a bus a little bit right around town. You know.
Well, the first person I ever saw do that was in Seattle. Our buddy Daniel from Union Cigar Society.
Do you have a boat now?
Well, he's always had the boat. The boats.
Oh.
The boats. Him and his mom have like an electric boat company, so you can travel around the water, smoke cigars. But he had a short bus.
Yeah, that's what we got.
Parked out in front of his store.
Yeah,
and they made a mobile lounge. So is it in working condition? Can you drive it around?
Totally. Yeah, we got it. It was a steal, man. We bought it from an actual mechanic. who sunk a little money in it to take his family on one trip, and then he unloaded it for super cheap. So we got really lucky. It's a great bus. We're gonna do some interior upgrades, make it look real nice.
Dude,
But
that's the
totally
loophole.
working. Yeah,
That's the loophole. You have to have it mobile. Like,
exactly.
dude, I was in Birmingham, England, doing an event, and the retailer had a pub, and in the back of his pub, he had this big like garden patio, and he had 2 walls, like draped walls, so he could actually keep in some heat. And because of that, it was not an enclosed space because there was only 2 walls, but he did have an enclosed space, and that was a cigar, like a little cigar store that held like a couch and a counter. That's it. So maybe 3 or 4 people could sit in there, but it was on wheels. So he could actually move it around if he had to. So he had the loophole of it was a mobile vehicle or a mobile lounge. So they couldn't shut him down.
Brandon, how are you guys going to monetize that bus?
We're not looking at necessarily monetizing it. We're using we look at it more like a service to the cigar community, and having that kind of attitude has always come back tenfold. I'm not going to charge anybody a damn thing for using it. We may you know, let people rent it out for a night for bachelor parties. You know, we'll roll it up to their house and drop it off and pick it up the next morning with the condition that they clean up all the shit and whatever else.
It sounds like the perfect opportunity for an event venue, though. So you do an event, and you know everybody that's coming to have the bus make laps around Salt Lake.
Yeah, that would be fun as hell. We thought about doing a trip out to Wendover too with a bunch of guys, but
there's this really cool website out there. They have this bus, right? And they take these pretty girls out and they record their time. Yeah, that's it. You got it.
Really? I've never heard of such a thing.
I
Could
knew
you
that was
elaborate?
coming.
Wait, I thought that was based in Vegas.
Well, it's Miami. Oh,
Vegas.
We
We're
went
gonna
down.
monetize it.
Yeah,
You
so
can couple it with like a black couch, and you can like cast people on it too. Just be careful, you might get sued.
Copyright.
So we have Vegas, Miami.
Well, if you
I'm
called
going to
it,
say
like,
Lenny's
the
representing
bang couch
LA right
or
now.
the casting bus, I think you would not have that same liability.
have a
Just
canoe.
remember, you asked me to be
Spitballing.
here.
Okay, next subject.
Next subject. Let's hear what's going on in Tucson, Sal. Tell me what's going on in Tucson.
The website, you know, even on some of our locals who are not using the curbside service or opting to use our website and have us ship to them. So the website's just been going off. You know, that's that. And then each one of our shops, we're just doing curbside pickup, call ahead, order your stogies, try to pay over the phone if you can. They can roll up to the curb, we send it out to them or ship it to them. That's basically been business as usual right now.
Are you finding yourself shipping to locals? Like
Yes, a lot of our
yeah?
local people are opting to, instead of coming to use the curbside, they'll just order through the website and have us shipped to them.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's been helping in order to deal with the COVID situation.
But all your locations are open for curbside right now?
Just for that though, no lounging, yeah.
Right.
But hopefully that'll end here, I think the 11th or 15th. Supposedly.
They said some lounges in Arizona were allowed to stay open. Is that correct?
For the way we interpreted what we read was that we shouldn't be open. I mean, if bars couldn't be open and restaurants couldn't be open, we just assumed we'd fall under that category. So we didn't want to mess with it, and we just decided to do curbside and not risk anything.
We shut our lounge and bar down as soon as the order from the governor came, but they claimed that convenience stores were still an essential business. So once they closed down my bar and my lounge, I sell packaged soft drinks and snacks, I sell shirts, I sell tobacco products, I sell packaged beer and wine. I rebranded myself as Big Sticks Cigars and Convenience Mart, and we just let people come in, one in the humidor at a time. When they clear the humidor and get to the register, the next guy can go in. And we've had a pretty good cycle of business going that way. We sanitize all the surfaces in between customers as much as possible. We open the door to the humidor so they don't have to touch that. I don't know. It's been working. We're down off of last year's business, but not disturbingly so.
Saul, for anybody listening that's not that hasn't been to Tucson, you've got multiple stores at Anthony's.
Yeah, we have 4 locations. Yeah, in Tucson and 1 in Phoenix.
Nice.
They're spread out through town, so they're convenient for everybody depending on where you live. Grant and Swan, Oracle and McGee, River and Campbell, and Broadway and Craycroft are the major intersections for the 4 locations here in town.
Okay, so were the laws for Arizona as a state, or were they city by city or county by county?
I believe it was the governor, right, who made they were county by county according to the GM. Yeah, according to Tyler, they were county by county. So we just had to follow whatever.
County.
So technically, Tucson and Phoenix are in different counties, so they had different laws, obviously.
Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah, I would assume so.
But
even within Tucson, because, you know, Oro Valley and Pima County, there's different counties within Tucson.
Okay.
Because like 2 of our stores are in Pima and 2 of our stores are technically in the city limits of Tucson. So they had to follow by different, but we just did the same thing universally at all of our locations.
And you had no problem with anybody trying to like stifle your business or anything like that?
I don't think so. And I think, you know, fortunately enough, a lot of our regular customers and loungers are officers and stuff like that, law enforcement. So we didn't see anybody come in and harass us for having carry out or anything like that.
So I'll ask you, but Brandon, we didn't chime in on this either. I know you guys have been, you know, with Tatuaje for a while. Yes.
Yeah.
long time.
Long time.
And you know, I think both of you guys have a pretty big portfolio, and you know, Saul, you got a lot online as well.
Yeah, we try to carry most of the lines.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of everything. It's always been a staple when we do a Tatuaje event. It's always one of our biggest events. We were lucky enough to be one of the unlucky 13 when I believe it was the Kruger came out. So yeah, we're
a good year.
Yeah, it was a great year. Yeah, that was a hell of a time. Thanks for that, Pete.
Not to put anybody else on the spot, but TAA retailers, raise your hand.
Right here, I'm smoking it right now. This is my second or third time smoking it. It's awesome. The Sumatra wrapper usage this year is excellent. It's a little sweeter, less body, but fantastic. You know, it's nice medium sweetness, got nice counterbalance. I like it a lot.
Cool. I'll let Pete describe what might be in store for PCA a little bit later too, or if you want to now.
No, later. Let's move on to Vegas real quick.
Yeah, they've been locked up the longest. Let's hear what's going on with you guys.
Well, sucks. Yeah, I was going to try and be positive, but it sucks. You know, the problem with Vegas is not just us, right? I mean, our economy here shut down entirely. So with the Strip and the conventions and, I mean, everything just stopped. It was kind of an Armageddon type moment. We actually tried to do a little grab and go 3 days a week from the 18th of March on when the governor shut us down. And that was working really well. We did it for about 2 weeks, and then we got ratted on. There's a couple guys that have been ratting all the cigar shops for continuing to try to survive. So we got told we need to shut down. And
yeah, we're frozen again.
It'll come back.
No, you guys, I can see you guys.
Okay.
You're not frozen.
Are the guys ratting you out? Are they in the industry, or are they just?
Well, one definitely is, but it's been multiple people calling in. It could be the next door barber shop that's shut down and can't open and is pissed off. I don't know. 1 or 2 are in the industry. It's not other shop owners. We're very tight in Vegas. It's about, I don't know, 8, 9 of us in Vegas, and we all get along. We work together. We promote each other as best as we can. It's a small town. But as a result of a total shutdown, we kind of have to go away and try to rethink how are we going to get through the next couple months in terms of paying the bills, keeping it going. As I said, Vegas is small. So one of the things we did is we've had really good relationships with our customers. So we upped our communication and marketing with, 600-700 guys across town, letting them know that we're delivering. And then the other piece of it was, frankly, picking brands. Like this week is actually Tatuaje week, where we're putting together great packages, using up some of the inventory we've built up over the years that were just kind of our reserves. You guys have jumped in and been great with the Bellicoso boxes. So we're using that, and guys are loving it, especially this week. They're like, that's the best deal we've ever done. So taking care of their need to smoke. Everyone's smoking more. That's the one thing we keep hearing is they're all smoking more. So when we're doing our deliveries, last Friday we were allowed to go to curbside, so now we're doing curbside. Big uptick in the business with curbside, but really what we need is grab and go. We need people to be able to come in and go into the humidor. They'll buy more if they're standing there, seeing the cigars versus just over the phone trying to guess what they like.
Yeah, we've literally had some people come up to curbside, and a lot of people don't know what they want to smoke. They don't know the name of the cigar, and they get intimidated, and they go, I want it's got a blue label and then twice they've got frustrated and say, I'm just, never mind, and they've driven off. It's, we take it for granted because we know our cigars. A lot of people don't. They've been smoking for 10 years and they literally don't know the name of the cigar they're smoking. It's crazy to us, but to them, it's just normal.
Well, I got a buddy of mine. He was my guitar player in my band, one of my guitar players in the band, and he lives out by you guys. And he's a cigarette smoker, and he smokes Dunhills. And he's like, do you know where I can find these? I go, dude, you're not going to get cigarettes shipped to you online. And he goes, well, maybe I'll just switch to cigars. And he goes, where should I go? I go, enfuego. And then I think it might have been during your shutdown because he's like, I can't even go pick them up. They won't even ship them to me. So he was struggling for a little bit. I'm sure he figured out a way.
We had to deliver. So we had to deliver to the gas station up the road. Because a lot of people are like, I don't want you to come to my house, and I'm not going to buy a lot of cigars. I'm just looking to buy 3-4.
Do you blame them?
We could only start doing curbside last week. We couldn't even do curbside.
We were literally running up to the gas station, and it was like doing a drug deal. We were pulling up, and windows go down, and here you go.
Yeah, because we got written up and fined at Henderson, and then 2 days later, the enforcement showed up at Sahara and said, you can't be doing this. You can't be bringing them out to the car. And I'm like, so if they go to the mall next door and call me, I can deliver there? And he goes, yeah.
Now, let's talk a little positive, though, right? So we got, we obviously have a lot of customers. There are different groups of guys and gals that hang out. They've set up lounges in their backyards. They're getting together every night. They are supporting us. They've been going out of their way to make sure that they're buying, most of their cigars from us, keep the doors open and create that atmosphere. And what I keep hearing from people is, I can't wait to get back in the lounge. I can't wait to get back together with everybody. So, we've really kind of doubled down during this time on refurbishing a little bit our lounges, not just doing the deep cleans, but we've had some furniture redone. We have some ideas of how to play up some of the industry brands. I think I talked to you before about spray painting your logo on our floor, Pete. We're thinking about doing some stuff now where we bring the brands that we've been together for a long time, that have supported us throughout the years during the good and the bad. You've seen some cigar brands have they're starting to fall by the wayside for whatever reason, but the ones that are consistently there, we want to play that up, and our customers do too. So there's a lot of positive out of this. We can't wait to open the doors again. Even with reduced numbers, it's going to be great.
Good to hear.
HR, are both stores are in the same situation? are they? Is that both the same county? If that comes into play later.
So Henderson, no, we're different. Henderson is city of Henderson. Sahara is in the city of Las Vegas, and then we have Clark County, which is the county and everything that's not Henderson, North Vegas or Vegas. Interestingly, Las Vegas and Henderson have taken complete opposite positions on the governor's shutdown. Our governor's he's not very he's not in good standing right now with a lot of people, mainly because of the way he's come across telling people what to do as opposed to we got to do this. So whether you're this is not political, just a lot of people don't like the way he's handled this. Henderson has chosen to enforce 100% what his task force has asked him to do. So for example, you can walk into a donut store 2 at a time with 6 people working. They hand you your donuts and you can walk out, no problem, right?
That's essential.
But smoke shops, which is what we've been thrown into, we're told you absolutely cannot do curbside whatsoever, right? So no logic. Henderson's enforced. Las Vegas, you've probably heard our mayor has basically flipped the bird and said, this is bullshit. We need to do this. And she's not I don't think she's great at expressing herself. What she's trying to say is we all got to look at our towns and our cities and do what's right in our towns and in our cities by business. And we, the government, shouldn't necessarily be telling them what to do from A to Z. That's what she's saying. And I think she's right. I think she's absolutely right. We need to be careful. We need to, if I could have opened my doors, I wouldn't have let more than 10 people in at a time. That's how I would have done it, right? That's what I think is going on here. So, with that said, there's a lot of fear. That's what's disappointed me more than anything else is we're letting the fucking fear win. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't even the plague, and if it was that bad, still, what are you gonna do? You're gonna stay home and I mean, it makes no sense. Still, be common sense. Wash your hands. Be clean. Be clear.
The country needs to move. That's the reality. If people aren't working, this country's not moving. So. All right, Lenny.
Yes.
Because I know we got a little bit out of Paul already, but I want to hear what's going on in your life, aside from actually, how's the baby? How's the kid?
She's good. Check this out.
Are you going to share your screen or attempt to?
No. Lenny, that broke your video feed. There you go.
Awesome. With a t-shirt and everything.
I like it.
It's a onesie.
Love it.
If you ran out of food, you could eat those cheeks for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, well, I figure we go a leg at a time. There's a lot of meat on those bones. No, she's doing great. She's just getting ready to crawl, and yeah, man, we're just taking it day by day.
So what's your situation down there, or over there? I guess.
We definitely didn't have it as bad as Vegas, that's for sure. We lost a little bit of business because of the spring training kind of went away. But I mean, we took a minor hit in cigar sales. We're not exactly where we should be for the month, but other than that, it's we got a lot of grab and go customers. A lot of people are looking forward to us being open full force, and we're carrying on. We definitely are fortunate that we haven't felt it as much as other people in our area. And we have a lot of great shops, and my heart really goes out to a lot of those shops who are struggling right now.
Yeah.
Hey Lenny, what's Lenny approved, brother?
So we had a social media guy who was taking pictures, and he took a picture of my stupid face and put it on a t-shirt, and I figured, you know what, screw it. So from then on, we've been doing lighters, cutters, stickers. We actually rolled out our first it's with you guys, our first Lenny approved pack of cigars.
Oh, nice.
Comes with a
Can't
lighter,
see it,
cutter.
but
Oh, well.
Oh yeah, you gotta turn your back. You got to turn your background off so the cigars will show up.
Yeah.
Hold on. Sorry,
No, you're not.
I'm not. So it comes with a cutter, lighter, and 6 cigars, and we're trying to be creative to give guys a chance to come out and
That's a good sampler, man. That's a great sampler for Cinco de Mayo, actually.
yeah, and we're just trying to keep people happy and keep them optimistic of what's going on, and if we can provide some fun stuff. I know we did when this whole COVID-19 thing came out, we went and made some biohazard stickers and did a COVID-19 sampler, a coronavirus sampler, and they were 5 Corona cigars across, I think, 5 different brands. And then as it got worse, we did the shelter in place 10-pack, or the quarantine pack. That was 10 cigars, and people seem to be eating it up. So,
were those not Lenny approved?
Well, it occurred to me to start putting stickers on them. So this is actually the first Lenny approved 6-pack.
Love it.
And if I ever do get famous or infamous, whether I wind up in prison or not, I'll be happy to sign autographs. So.
Hey, Brandon, can you get on doing Brandon approved 19 packs for us?
Kendrick, are you in bed?
We will sue the shit out of you.
So from what I'm hearing from everybody, you guys are doing improvements. Lenny, you're doing some improvements to your lounge still, or not?
Yeah, hand check.
When we went down, we just repainted.
Is anyone besides me? No, I'm not.
But other than that, there's nothing.
I'm no longer
nothing really new. We gave the lounge a fresh coat of paint, and other than that, it was just a great way to keep the guys busy and employed. So we've been coming up with little projects.
All right, so let's get to Paul. He touched up a little earlier, but I want to hear a little bit more about what you're doing in the store, which you said, but also you roll cigars there too, right?
Yeah, we're Arizona's only federally approved licensed cigar manufacturer. That's not happening right now, but I've got tons of inventory, and we're using this opportunity to get those into people's hands. Everyone who comes in the store, we're running a deal on our Palos Grandes cigars. But yeah, I mean, we're trying to keep the experience as normal as possible for customers. Obviously, we can't let them enjoy a frosty beverage in the comfortable confines of our lounge, but we're keeping in touch with them through social media and email. We're keeping them safe as they come in and out of the store. We're still doing. At last month, we were about at 70% of our level of business from last year in the month of April. But we're running very lean, so it didn't hurt us tremendously. We applied for PPP, still in the queue for that, and that's something I'd be interested to know from the rest of you is, did you apply for it? Did you get the money? Are you still in line like us? Do you think
what bank did you use?
We actually went through 2, Wells Fargo, which was notorious for giving it to their biggest, best customers. But we also used BBVA Compass, who we bank with regularly. So I think the problem with that was a lot of the banks were, even though they were small business loan applications for the SBA, they were going with the biggest ones and the ones that were going to be easiest to push through. So your Los Angeles Lakers and your Ruth's Chris Steakhouses of the world managed to get their stuff right away, and the rest of us, who the money was actually intended for.
I kind of want to jump in on that because I did the math the other day, and I know Ruth's Chris has like over 100 locations worldwide. I'm trying to figure out how they only have 500 employees. Right?
They probably did it separately.
Yeah, I would assume, yeah.
And it was supposed to be a max of 10 million, and they got 20.
22.
Wow.
And Shake
Well,
Shack and a lot
enough
of the
of
other
politics.
places. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it was necessarily political. I think it was just from the bank standpoint, it was easiness. You know, we've got this huge stack. We can rifle through all these big boys really quick, make it easy on ourselves, and got these other applications. There's thousands of them, and they're so hard to go through. Let's just take care of the people who've taken care of us over the years. It really seems it's got that feel to it. I don't know if that was actually the case. I guess we'll find out 6 months from now, after all the investigations and whatnot. But
I got a number from our local bank, Nevada State Bank. I found the local manager at one of them, and I found his cell number, and I text him every day. And I got the loan just yesterday. It went into my account.
Congratulations.
So a couple things, Paul. Not to get into the details, but the processing a small loan for a big bank is not only not profitable, they actually lose money doing it. That's what's going on. So what we found is Henderson, we went through our U.S. bank originally and got nowhere. So 4 days ago, we went to a local small finance organization, and within an hour of me submitting it, it was processed.
Wow.
Now for it to come back. I spoke to Mason this morning, who was in Phoenix, and same thing for him. They went through Wells Fargo, nothing. He got processed and paid in 3 hours going with a small local player in Phoenix. So I'll connect you guys.
Thank you.
Resubmit going through the small guys.
Yeah. Well, it was a hastily conceived and poorly thought out piece of legislation. Unfortunately, I mean, I don't throw a ton of blame on them, because they were trying to do something very quickly that would benefit a lot of people. But I think they went a little too quick on it. And, you know, calling a small business 500 employees or less to those of us who own small businesses seems a little ridiculous.
Right.
The standard should have been a lot different. That said, I look forward to the information from you. Thank you.
Phoenix guys, I was on with some guys from Fort Wayne the other night, and they're baseball guys because they're right across from a minor league stadium, and they said that there was a rumor out there in the minors, at least, that they may just move like a whole schedule of games to Phoenix and to Florida, and just bring in all the teams. Is that being talked about? Anything?
There were some rumblings about that a couple weeks ago, but it seemed to die. And we're a mile and a half from Sloan Field, where the Cubs play. We're like 4 miles from where the A's play spring training. And that could account literally for the 30% we were down, just not having people in town for those spring training games. You know, the level of, you know, the number of people it brings to the Valley, and the increase in business for everyone, restaurants, bars, you know, cigar stores and lounges, hotels. Yeah. So yeah, spring training getting canceled almost immediately was very damaging.
Yeah, that's a big
business here.
We share a parking lot with the Rockies and Diamondback Stadium, and that's where we're thinking most of our loss came from, as well as we just don't have the spring training.
Yeah, definitely. You know, will it be back next year? Hopefully, probably. You know, we really don't know what the end of this is going to be, how the government's going to continue to react to it, the initial knee-jerk reaction to shut everything down. In part, I was glad for that. You know, my parents live out here. They're in the high-risk group. They're, you know, my mom's going to be 80 this month. Dad's going to be 83 soon. They've been sheltering in place for 6 weeks now. I go over there with a mask on to drop them off supplies and stuff for, you know, just 10, 15 minutes at a time. Say hi, how you doing? You know, make sure there's nothing else they need, and then just try and keep in touch with them as much as possible through social media and over the phone, but I don't want to certainly don't want to be responsible for them getting sick, because running the business the way we are, I'm still exposing myself to 50, 60 customers a day who could be infected and asymptomatic, and that's why there hasn't been any backlash that I've seen against the handful of stores and lounges that are still allowing customers to come in and hang out. But I almost feel like there should be. For those of us who are trying to do things as responsibly as possible, and then there are other people saying, "No, fuck it." Excuse me, we're on the internet.
No, it's okay.
But we have plenty of room in our lounge. People can social distance. Well, there's nobody in the valley who has more room in their lounge than I do. And if I don't feel like I can be back there monitoring social distancing, there's no way they can. So just play fair. Everyone do what you can that's allowable by the law, and eventually we'll be out of this and we can all compete on a level playing field.
We did have one store here in Phoenix that got shut down by the city of, where's iSpy? Glendale.
Oh, I wasn't aware.
Yeah, iSpy got shut down because he went on the internet and said, "Hey, come on down, our lounge is open." And instead of doing it subtly, or he pissed off a customer and they ratted him out, but they closed him down completely for business. He couldn't even do takeaway till, I think, May 1st.
Wow.
We have a liquor license here for our business. We have a beer and wine bar, and there are many stores in the valley that do. But then there are also many stores that allow customers to bring liquor in and drink whatever they want in their store. Well, that's kind of unfair. If you want to have people consume alcoholic beverages in your store, there's only one legal way to do it, and that's to have a liquor license and serve them. Am I a whistleblower? No. I know who these stores are. Have I called the state and said, "Hey, go check these guys out. They're letting people bring bottles in and just drink." They have no liability. They don't have to buy the insurance I have to have on my place because I'm serving alcohol, and it's kind of like the Wild West. And the state just doesn't have the labor to enforce these things, so they're not out doing it on a regular basis. They only do it on a complaint basis. But do I want to be the dick who's calling on every other store in the valley? I've known a lot of these people for 20, 30 or more years, so I'm not going to drop a dime on them. I just wish that the state would do its job, enforce things just as they enforce the no lounge rule on iSpy. I feel bad for the guys at iSpy, but they were doing something they shouldn't have been doing.
We've got plenty of time, and audits in the state on our tobacco side have gone up. I have four stores that have just been audited during coronavirus outbreak.
That takes balls.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Yeah.
Casey, speak up.
No, I've been running around doing the same thing for my parents who are at a higher risk also, Paul, and I understand what your philosophy is, because it's not easy, and it's most appreciated that you're doing what you do for them.
Thanks. I mean, I don't see any other way to do it, and I'm in a high risk category myself, but I don't worry about me.
Right. Well, no, I mean, it's kind of cool because he just calls in and says hello, and it's a favorite son, so it's a difficult task on my end.
That was Governor Cuomo talking.
Thank you.
Nice job, Gov.
Come on, Pete.
So where do you guys, Pete, Casey, Dan, where do you guys see the industry from the manufacturing side going with all of this? I mean, are we going to see everything in cellophane? Are we Are there going to be any changes, you think? Because what's your perspective?
Pete, you can talk a lot about what we already are doing at our factory in general, but then you can kind of lead into what may or may not happen this summer, but what we're definitely going to do regardless this summer with PCA.
Well, yeah, we actually have some cigars that are being produced just for PCA attendees. Obviously, I truly don't believe that we'll have a show. I think there's going to be some type of negotiation to leave the contract as it stands right now, and we're going to either shift towards the end of the year or we're not going to have a show this year, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with, because honestly, I originally, when this whole thing started, I figured, okay, we have enough time before the show, but I really believe that people are going to be scared and they're not going to want to go out. So I'm going to guess maybe 30% of the retailers that actually do show up to Vegas for the show will go. And then as the weeks progress, I'm like, okay, I'm leaning more towards 10 to 15%. And now, even over the last week, I've thought that if they have a show, there might not be anybody that shows up.
See, my plan was, if they do have the show, I will, since it's close enough for us, I'll get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll drive out there. I'll be registered in time to get into the show the first day. I'll stay one night in a hotel, go to the show the second day, and then drive back, because I know there won't be enough to do for the entire time. But I still want to go and have a presence and support the vendors that, if there is a show, I want to support the vendors that went, because they're supporting the industry. But I'm certainly not going to go for the full length of the show, get there the day before and do the whole, there won't be any parties, there won't be any dinners, there won't be any reason to stay. The only reason to go is to do business with the people. And
show face, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we actually had made the commitment. Obviously, we've already paid for our booth space. And everybody that I know has paid for their booth space. And I said, listen, if we actually do have a show, we're going to maybe trim down the amount of people that show up on our side, but we're going, and we're going to have, our carpet maybe, and then a couple towers displaying the new stuff, but we're not going to set up the whole booth. It's unnecessary.
Yeah, if your customers don't know the old stuff, they're not really your customers.
Yeah, I think that's really probably my most frustrating part about the trade show, is that every year we have to display all the old stuff, because there are a few people that walk in and go, yeah, can you show me that size? I don't remember it. I'm like, okay, well, 17 years later, you would hope that people would know the whole portfolio.
Yeah.
Especially
Do you know what
they
ring gauge
carry.
is? Do you know how to measure in inches? It's
it goes back to
it's a 4.5 by 44. What do you want?
It goes back to Shar's comment about, like, people driving up and going, hey, it's blue, and I'll forget about it. I'm out of here.
Yeah. And then when you actually, if you could get that person in your humidor, by the time you figure out what it is, it wasn't blue. It didn't start with an M. It's
right.
Are you kidding me?
Right.
All of a sudden it's a red label that starts with a G.
Yeah, we have a lot of products that were slated for the trade show. A few line extensions, a couple of new sizes, and a few lines like Cabai Juan and Atelier. And we're adding a couple sizes in very small quantities just for people that attended the show. I think what we're doing now is we're planning on utilizing this platform that we've been only doing for a couple weeks now, and maybe offering those products first to the people that we've done these chats with. Because it's important for us to support the people that support us. And the fact that you guys took the time today to come on and share your stories, it's important for us to give back to you guys as much as possible.
Hey, Pete, one of the things I think Shar might have been alluding to, Shar, correct me, is if we see anything that might be coming down the road, like, Shar, you mentioned everything maybe needing to be in cello, and I think you're getting at more of that safety aspect of it. I don't particularly see anything like that. Pete, you can chime in.
I don't see really the difference so much. I honestly don't know how long this could actually sit on a tobacco leaf differently than a piece of cellophane.
Yeah, or a tube, or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing it would probably sit on a tube even longer.
Until we see some science on it, there's no point in making
there
a
is no
wholesale change.
There is no
the
science.
other thing is, initially when they came out, they said the places where the virus lasts the longest, I laughed my ass off, is in a cool, damp environment. So a humidor. What are we supposed to do? We've got an incubator for coronavirus in the middle of every one of our stores. So one thing we ask customers, and it's on signage, is only touch what you intend to purchase. I don't go in there and follow them around and say, oh, you touched that when you're buying it. But most of the customers have been really good about that. And since we're getting mostly our core right now, we're getting the people who know what they want to buy anyway. So they're coming in, and the one issue we have had is people who just don't get that we're only doing one in the humidor at a time. And like after 15 minutes, I'm like, dude, you're gonna pick out a cigar? Or there's 3 people waiting now to get into the humidor. If you're still undecided, step out here into this socially distanced area and let the next guy in.
Yeah, but we've definitely talked to retailers that are, currently right now taking the precaution of like no one, even if it's okay. Last week someone mentioned that not only curbside they could do. He was in Iowa, I believe, that he could make appointments to come in and shop, and because appointments still worked, and we thought that was really interesting. We'd never heard that one before. But a lot of the guys are saying that, whether someone's in there or not, they're going into the humidor, they're getting their cigars for them, or they'll walk them in, but they'll grab them. So, there are retailers that are, wearing gloves to pick the cigars out, and the whole shooting match. So there's a ton of stuff that people are currently doing.
You touched your face.
What's that?
A glove is only as good as the last time you touched your face with it.
True.
So well, but the glove's kind of a funny thing, but
yeah, it's the same as the fast food industry. Like,
right.
You go to a Subway and they throw their glove away because they're now going to take your money, right? So, I mean, unless you want to go through a whole box of medical gloves, meaning every time you go in, you put one on, it is the same in that realm.
Yeah, we were using 95% isopropyl alcohol to spray down the debit card pin pad and the front counter and the rewards platform that we use, and the door to the humidor, and all of these things. And it got impossible to buy isopropyl alcohol. So I went to the store the other day and I bought a couple bottles of Everclear, which is 95% grain alcohol.
Yeah,
and just as good or better. Plus, you can drink it. So there is.
Trust me, we have a distiller. There's a distiller right down. Well, it's on the block that my office is on, where I'm sitting right now. And they started making hand sanitizer, which was, again, just denatured alcohol, right? And there were lines like 2 miles long around this neighborhood of cars, for their curbside delivery, because they wouldn't take orders. They only allowed you to show up and, on demand. So for 2 weeks straight, you could not get anywhere around here. And granted, no one was. We were at a stay-at-home order, so no one should have been out except for that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of just individual offices here, so people were here.
Our stay-at-home order seems to be a little looser, I think, certainly than New York and Detroit and some of the other areas. It was a strong encouragement, but not. If you're seen outside, you're going to be. Shot, arrested, whatever.
No, same here in Ohio.
Going back to Shar's question, though, I mean, earlier, I think Pete can touch on it a little bit more. He talked a little about the separation of rollers and bunchers. I think the factories are starting to take more precautions, correct, Pete?
Yeah.
No, I
and-
mean, obviously, all the factories down in Nicaragua and the Dominican Republic, the extra precautions they've been taking, including a lot of factories are spraying down, making their employees go through like a clean room, like a spray room, to sanitize going through. Then, of course, washing their hands as they enter, and then to the table wearing masks. So everybody's taking those extra precautions. I don't think, by the time we ship product, you got to remember at the Garcia's facility, everything gets packed up. By the time it gets packed up, it gets packed into a master case that maybe a UPS driver or whatever would actually carry, right? But everything that's in those master cases gets frozen for 3 days. And that's how we treat, for beetles, to make sure that we don't have an outbreak of beetles with, hot temperatures, especially during travel in containers that get stuck in customs for extra time because the customs agency is actually running on more of a skeleton crew too. So I got to believe that anything that goes through that freezing gets killed no matter what. After that, it's really up to us to be cautious when we're packing boxes and shipping them to the retailers.
Yeah, by the time they're packed, shipped to retail, the coronavirus can't live that long on any surface.
Yeah, probably 24 hours.
Right. So what the factories need to do is protect their employees from infection.
Yeah, absolutely.
There really isn't a concern of protecting the consumer against infection because it just can't last that long.
Plus, it's something that we light on fire.
Right. Yeah, I've actually been joking with people, and I say every puff you take on a cigar mitigates your risk of catching an airborne virus. I mean, you pull that air through the lit end of a cigar. And there actually have been some studies that even, the government said that smokers are at a lower risk of contracting it than non-smokers.
Right.
Which is curious. And I think part of it's because of that. We're taking, 1/3 of our breaths are coming through the end of a lit cigar.
Amen.
If we smoke all day
Amen.
like we do.
But you know what? The government will never tell everybody that that's the case.
And here's to sanitizing our bodies internally. I'm not injecting Lysol, although I've given it some thought.
So is there an over/under on who's going to make the first Lysol flavored cigar? Is this Drew Estate's project?
I was just gonna say JSK.
JSK, yeah.
Pete, the final monster series could be the COVID-19, 19-count boxes, double Corona.
Oh yeah, you heard that one here first.
It can come in a jar that looks like Lysol.
That might be a good surrogate, actually. You don't need to do that as a monster.
Yeah, hey, I'll beat you to the punch.
Who all smoking San Andreas stick right now?
I thought about it because it's Cinco de Mayo. I wanted to do an ME2 because, frankly, I fucking love that blend.
I don't have any of those, but I'm smoking Satin Glove, and I've got a La Mission up next.
I had to do a herf with Jeff from Corona last night, and I was looking around my closet full of cigars, trying to find some MEs, and the only thing I found was a full box of ME2 Robustos that I brought back from the German trade show. So they had the German tax stamp and the warning labels all over it. So I had to peel off the warning labels because I had to show the box last night. I was like, I don't think anybody wants to see the German warning labels.
Well, Pete and Dan, we can get you set up with a Lenny approved pack.
That's why I was bringing that up. Yeah.
Shameless.
I'll say it again. That's a good pack, Lenny.
Yeah.
You got a chuck in there also? That's
Yeah,
nice.
We do.
Every once in a while, even a blind squirrel finds a nut. Oh.
You called me a squirrel.
You've always been a little squirrely.
Pete, I'll put you on the spot. Which one of these retailers goes back the longest with Tatuaje?
I got to believe it's Anthony's. Oh, no, Paul, really?
I think it's Paul.
Was it you?
Tinderbox
Oh.
Mesa.
Oh shit! Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
probably
Your first show.
Probably was it? No, it wouldn't have been 03. It would have been 04, maybe in New
Probably
Orleans.
04.
No, 04 was Vegas. 04
Yeah.
Vegas.
Probably 04.
Yeah. I mean, actually, the longest guy is really Varton. He was 04 Vegas. I think you might have been 05 New Orleans.
You think it was that late?
Yeah, Varton was my first Arizona client with Ambassador. He was the first Arizona client.
I knew it had to be close.
And yeah, he's been one of those guys that has taken care of me for the last 16 years out of 17. But actually,
Awesome, dude. I was surprised that he took that he closed entirely. That was
I was actually really
to me.
surprised. I mean, I kind of understand it because of his wife, who's in the higher risk category, and he wants to be safe for himself and his family. But I was like kind of shocked at first, and then I started understanding the
I know he's a
dynamics of it.
hands-on guy, but he could have remained in operation and not been there. But that's not his style.
No, not at all. Yeah.
So
It's now open for curbside as of Friday.
Oh, fantastic!
Both stores,
and
Joel.
Good for him for being
Both
that safe guy. Good for him.
Yeah.
I know the stores around him were benefiting greatly from his absence.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, Saul, you guys been doing any special samplers or anything like that during this time period? Like even for the local, pickup guys? I know some stores that, it's one of the things they've been doing. They've been doing a mixed sampler, like, every couple of days they'll do something different and just say, hey, it's $40 out the door, come get it. I know you guys have a ton of product even that's not ours. So like
I probably should be doing things like that. I have had several manufacturers toss me a bundle or two and say, run a 4-in-1, 5-in-1, whatever you want to do. And we've done some of that, but
yeah, I mean,
I haven't been
aside
really
from
aggressive at marketing things like that. Probably
aside
should.
from Shar and Mike, I mean, you guys have been shut down basically, but the other guys, Beehive or Anthony's, have you guys been doing samplers, like a lot of samplers for people?
We haven't been doing like specific samplers, but what we've been doing for our online guys is throwing them some extra bodyguards in light of everything going on, hooking them up with something that's subject to whatever they order. If you order a box of Tatuaje, we'll throw you something special that you didn't order, maybe a couple of them just as a extra, to pad the time, because we know you guys got nothing to do but smoke right now. So we've been trying to hook up everybody who orders from us.
Yeah. Have you all been getting product in, not just from us, but from other companies?
Yeah, we've been able to get regular shipments, seemingly. Yeah, haven't had any issues so far getting product from anyone.
For the first couple of weeks, I was a little weird on ordering, not knowing how things were going to, happen. And so I ran out of some staples and did my best to get people to buy other things. But eventually, when I saw the level of business we had, I said, let's just keep a decent inventory, live up to our reputation of always having what the customer wants when he comes in for it.
Does Arizona prepay the tobacco tax, or do you do it at the end of the month?
End of the month.
Well, we get it. If it comes in February, we have to pay the tax on the 20th of March for everything we got in February.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty similar for even California. Like everything that I ship in February, we have to pay everything by like the 24th of March. But, we have a schedule that I'd rather not miss that deadline. So we pay it a little early just to be safe. But now it's all online. We used to fill out a form and like scan it in and send it by email. Now it's all done online.
You guys just went to that model in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
January.
Yeah, we did. We don't have, that's what's killing us.
So everything that you have in your store, you've had to pay taxes on.
All my inventory is paid. Yeah.
Yeah. Some states have, some states, you know, they'll let you bring it in. You have to pay the taxes on everything that you brought in during that month, but anything you ship out, you're able to take off of that invoice or that tax bill. And then there's certain states that are disallowing people to write off the stuff they ship out of state, which is really kind of wrong. But
yeah. The only exception for us, since we manufacture, is the cigars we manufacture. We keep them in a secure area, and we pay the taxes on them as we bring them out of the storage humidor.
Well, that makes perfect sense, though.
Right.
That's how it should be.
Paul, do you sell those to anyone else?
Yeah, we've got them in. Lenny's had some. I don't know if you still have some, or if you need more.
Nice.
But yeah, we've got them in several retailers. We've got them available through Sunset Wholesale here in town, and what I really need is someone besides me to sell them. I need someone working on selling the brand, because I've got enough on my plate here.
Joel's scooting further and further out of the camera view there, Joel.
So Brandon, have you been doing the sampler stuff? You and Kendrick?
Yeah, we've definitely been doing samplers. It's just easier. It allows us to add a little bit of a savings to it as well. Usually when we do a sampler, we'll mark it down from retail, and that's an incentive for a lot of guys. Our biggest that we've been doing, we do in-store kind of a monthly, cigar employee of the month, kind of thing.
Oh, nice.
It's usually about 4 cigars. We've been putting those into a pre-mixed sampler and knocking the discount down a little lower over buying them individually. And that, they fly. Absolutely. Guys are looking to stock up a little more than they have been traditionally.
I think I've done a bad job of training my customer base, because 95% of the people that come through my door want to buy what they want to buy. And if you throw a sampler together, they're going to be like, well, I like those 2, but those other 3 I'm not a big fan of, so I'll pass, even though it's a good deal. Just give me 5 of these. Okay. My margins are better when they do it that way, but it also makes it a lot tougher to move stuff you want to get rid of.
Yeah, and that's the other appeal too with curbside is the same thing. You got a guy who walks up and he's like, I don't know, it's blue and it starts with a J. He doesn't know what he's after. I've had a lot of customers just kind of pass it over and let us make picks for them. They're like, hey, I trust you. You know what to smoke.
Yeah.
Go buy me 4 or 5, and that's been working well too.
Nothing I love better than the guy that says, pick me out 20 cigars. You know what I like. Like, thank you, God. Because I just walked into the humidor. 3 minutes later, I'm done. And
so Shard, you guys know, I mean, you touched on it a little bit, but do you guys know when you're able to get back to somewhat of a normal structure?
No, not really. We're hoping 22nd of May is potentially a day, but we don't know.
He doesn't know. The 15th. That May 15th,
22nd, 1st of June.
That May 15th, he's going to announce the first phase. And he's proposing 4 phases. So we're still in limbo, but the whole town is freaking out. They just, on Friday, MGM fired the president of New York. It's been there for 17 years, or Luxor for 17 years, New York, Bellagio. And
they fire him for underperforming over the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Exactly.
So here's my question. I mean, I'm not much of a stock guy, but if anybody in this room is a stock guy, how the hell does MGM stock keep on going up? Like, is it because they're laying off so many people that their expenses are down? It's so confusing to me.
It went down to $6. And like a moron, I didn't buy it because I was shitting my pants about what was going to happen, and it's up to $15 already.
See, I don't get that.
Figuratively.
I don't even get that. I don't get the fact that the cruise lines are actually going up. Like,
because they know they're going to get bailed out. That's why.
I think it is.
You got bailouts coming. You got a belief that everything's going to come back. That this is overblown.
I mean, like take Vegas, for example. When we had the big shooting where 57 people were killed for the outdoor concert. The chatter amongst everybody was, oh, we're never going to do an outside concert again. I'm never going to an outside concert again. 3 months later, across the street from our Sahara store, they had 100,000 people outside in a concert with buildings all around them. So the optimistic part of me looks at this as it's going to blow over. People are going to forget. We do. People forget pain, or else they'd never have another baby. Think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shock is a beautiful thing.
All right, so almost in that realm, and maybe to wrap up too. I've got a question for everybody.
Wrap up. I was just getting started.
There you go. Whether we go back to that norm or not, we're gonna get to some norm, whether it's a new norm or where not as many people are allowed in your lounge at a time for a while, whatever. Let's assume it's not that, and we were back to where we were in November of last year. What's everybody missed? What would you look most forward to about your business if we were back to norm?
Well, first of all, me, I'm not going to take it for granted. There's times, you guys all know, I'm sure, where you don't really want to hear another story. You don't want to hear about another guy's grandkid's baseball game and problems with his wife, and you just want to be anywhere but sitting around that table. I'm not going to take it for granted anymore.
Yeah, you miss that guy now.
Yeah.
We're in this business, in the retail tobacco business, we're used to hyper socialization. We're on an average day during normal times, I'm talking to 80 to 120 people a day. Now, I'm actually only having a conversation with maybe 5 or 10 people a day, and the time in between those conversations seems to take forever. It kind of made me realize, despite how antisocial I like to think of myself, I'm a social being. I miss those conversations. I miss the small talk. I miss the deep talk. But I just miss talking to people, serving people. And
I agree. I'm sure
the level
Casey,
of activity. I want to get back to moving again.
I'm sure Casey would say the same thing about us being on the road. Like that's as much as we would gripe about said things, we miss that. Like this is a poor excuse for that, right? And doing an online HERF and all that good stuff. But yes, hyper social, as Paul put it. I think that's probably the easy thing that everybody's missing. The other easy answer is more business if you're actually missing some business right now. The flip side of that question, though, might touch on what Brandon mentioned, which we've heard a couple times, which is, I may come out of this with some guys who trust me a little more, right? It's that guy that might have come into or gal that might have come into the shop, and you're like, "Can I help you?" No, I'm just looking. Now, 30 seconds later, they might say, "Hey, I had this cigar with the blue band on it, and I'm looking for it." But our first reaction always is, "No, I don't really need any help," right? But for them to get to a point where they're like, "Wow, dude, I remember when you were doing the curbside samplers. You put together this one thing that was all focused on stronger sticks or whatnot. I never thought I'd be into stronger sticks, but now I am." I don't know. There might be an argument. Oh, beautiful. Tell people what that is.
The last thing I ever want to hear one of my employees say is, "Can I help you find anything?" Because it's too easy to say no.
Everybody says no. I say no matter what.
It's what can I help you find today?
Yeah.
Then they at least have to give it a little bit of thought.
But Paul, we're all self-professed experts about everything we do in life. So, like when we walk into a store,
you sense that about me?
We tell everybody, "Yeah, we're good. I'm good. I know what I'm looking for." But at the same time, it's like asking for directions, right? And it's usually us men that never ask for directions.
Right. Pete, what is that stick, real quick?
If I seem unresponsive, it's because
it's the Well, it's actually a prototype band. The band's changing a slight bit, not exactly that, but very close. It's the new Kawai One, based off the original Kawai One blend, obviously. Kawai One turns 15 years old this year, and I'm adding 2 sizes to the line, similar sizes that I've done in the past that I can hopefully prove substantial equivalence to. But it's a way to celebrate the 15 years of Kawai One by adding a couple new things to it.
Nice.
This is a 5 5/8 by 54. And then there's another one that's 4 3/8 by 52, which actually might be the favorite out of the 2 for me, but I smoked them all. So,
yeah. So, like on that whole topic, I actually think that that everybody could come out with maybe some. I don't want to make it sound negative, but maybe some more educated customers.
No, that's the point I was going to make, Dan, is that I think at this point you've got people who maybe they're in a rut for whatever reason. You know, they smoke what they smoke. Most of the time it's not because they absolutely love that cigar. They don't know what to move on to next.
Yeah.
Right? So if you've got an educated staff who's able to make recommendations based on what they've been smoking, you can get them to branch out.
Hello.
I think an educated customer
Hey,
is,
we're back.
Yeah, no, Brandon, I agree. And then you've got all of this online activity that's happening, and people with time on their hands that are branching out. You know, maybe watching some of this stuff, you know, in a way that they never have, or you know, there have been a lot of online interviews. I know Pete's done a ton, and other manufacturers have done, you know, just a boatload of stuff. So there's an onslaught of info out there that, you know, maybe the, you know, the younger crowd or the, you know, older, newer crowd who's out there looking, they, you know, they may have been doing that even last year, but there hasn't been as much content. I think there's a ton more content, and we're, you know, that's why we're, you know,
I want to take the time to thank Michael Jordan. Maybe he's not smoking domestic cigars, but the fact that he was smoking in his car, smoking in his hotel room, and showing the world that he's truly a passionate cigar smoker,
right.
regardless of what he's smoking. Thank you to Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I've had nothing but the last 5 weeks, people walking up. You watching the Michael Jordan documentary? You see him smoking that cigar? Like, yeah, we've all seen it.
Okay. Can I call Michael Jordan out now?
Please do.
Sure. I want to hear this shit.
Yeah, I'm going to call Michael Jordan out for releasing. Well, it wasn't him, but his name's on him. I don't know if you saw any updates from Atlanta, where things are still not good in Atlanta, right? 50 to 100 people standing in a bunch in front of sneaker stores because a new Michael Jordan sneaker dropped, and they were just, you know, crowding around a door waiting for that thing to be released inside. Great for the mall shop, right? Because malls are open there. But yeah, big crowd of people, like big buzz because there's this new shoe that's going to drop. That's not calling him out, but I found
even if I gave a shit, they don't make them in my size. So
hey, Dan, that's been a Nike thing for years. They do it the first of the month. They release Jordan.
Yeah.
Think about it. All right.
I'm actually fascinated by the whole documentary because, I mean, we obviously know most of the story, but to hear some of the things that were going on, it's really, really interesting to know that like Nike at the time really wasn't a good company. Like they were failing.
Yeah.
And then look at Nike now compared to the other companies that sell sneakers. Like Converse was the hot shit back then, right?
Right. Well, why do you think
I think it's really
now Air Jordan is a brand of its own, and it's golf, it's everything. It's amazing to see what they've done. And I know Jordan probably owns a big chunk with Phil Knight.
Well, that's why he's worth like, you know, $2 billion.
Exactly.
Come on, everybody jump in. What's your favorite sneaker? Let's call them all out because we're all Adidas whores. So
no, I'm a Converse guy.
Yeah.
Check
I couldn't afford Converse when I was a kid, and everybody had like 6-8 colored pairs of standard Converse when I was growing up. I remember sixth grade, and that was the thing that started separating before you went into junior high school. It was like, yes, Joel just held one up, and so I could never get on the Converse bandwagon because I couldn't have them when I was a kid. So I don't know.
I'd like to get a pair of those Nike Decades that the Heaven's Gate guys were all wearing.
And in the late 70s, early 80s, when I was going to high school, it was Reebok.
Oh yeah.
And now it's whatever the hell I can find that fits.
Do you guys remember LA Gear? Those were the fucking best.
Yeah, Casey.
I had those when I was
LA Gear.
Well, Adidas ended up buying Reebok.
Or as they say in Spanish, La Gear.
A gear. A gear.
Wait, who said that? La Gear.
La Gear.
I got to run, guys, but I just
Every time I
want to
see
say
that,
real quick to all of us, because I think what I've experienced most from the customers is the gratitude for cigars.
Yeah.
I've had conversations with guys who really say, I couldn't get through this without saying, okay, I just blew an hour and a half on a cigar. Now let me blow another hour and a half on another cigar. The appreciation for cigars, I can feel it in people like I've never experienced before.
Yeah.
We've taken it for granted. They're there. I got them. My store's there. I got my humidor. But the fact that it's given us pleasure during this lockdown, it's an amazing thing to witness. It's awesome.
Yeah, no offense. Yeah, I've had tons of customers that thank us every day for being open. And no offense to the guys that have an online presence, but I think one thing we really need to push hard at when we start to come out of this is getting people back to their brick and mortar retailer, because otherwise we're all going to lose a ton of sales to online because people have gotten way too comfortable with
well, that's really the point of this platform, is to support your local.
And we said it last week,
we appreciate you guys doing
and
this for that
everybody
reason.
online last week was kind of saying the same thing. You know, Brandon, whether it was from, I think I've got new customers, right? I said last week, you know, we're all trying to order from the restaurant that we don't want to go away when this is all said and done.
Right.
Doesn't mean that we frequent it even once a month, but we want it there when the special occasion comes up, because, you know, that was the restaurant that we always used to go to, for whatever reason, right? So everybody's stepping out of their bounds and trying to support everything locally that they don't want to go away at the end or in the middle. And I think we're seeing that a lot. And I think a lot of the brick and mortars are, you know, they're thinking creatively, and you know, that's one of the things that that I was getting at earlier was, you know, is there something that you miss, and is there something that you're gaining? I mean, that's what I'd leave you with to think about, because I think, you know, no matter what, everyone has the potential to be gaining something, whether it's customers' knowledge or new customers.
Cigars are in their lives, honestly.
Yeah. And the appreciation for, you know, what was, you know, status quo, right? You'd all go to your shop first thing in the morning, you know, look forward to Sunday evening so you could reset for the next week or whatever. And, you know, we get kind of set in our ways, and then all of a sudden this comes around, and you're like, boy, I miss coming in on Monday mornings, you know, worrying about how busy we're going to be by Monday evening, or whatever it was, whatever that daily trivial thing was. So new appreciation for customers, new appreciation for product. Same thing. I think a lot of guys have been able to concentrate on the products that they have. And you know, again, you might creatively be trying to put a pack together for curbside delivery, and you might find something in your humidor. That's another thing that came up last week was, well, we took the time to clean out our humidor, didn't realize we had, you know, this box from 2016 and this box from 2017. So people have been getting some some nice gems from their local retailers who are finding that kind of stuff. So that's been good, as well as what you all kind of said. Whether it's painting, cleaning, some update. I know a couple of customers in Maryland. One of them completely redid their floors. They've been wanting to do it for like 2 years, and they're like, but I got to shut down for days to tear out the whole floor and put in a brand new floor, right? Well, unfortunately, it gave them that, or fortunately, it gave them the opportunity to do it.
Be investing in your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
I think you've seen that a lot with everybody reinvesting in their business right now.
Yep.
I agree.
Because if we don't take the time to do it, we might not survive getting out of this. So.
Right. Exactly.
It's why that consistency, the word consistency, keeps coming back in my mind, and it goes all the way up the chain, right? Our customers look to us to provide the consistent experience in our lounges. They know they don't need us to get cigars. They can get that online. They can get that from competition, cheaper online, etc. But they come to us for that experience. That experience is many different things. We've touched on a lot of it today. Everything from the knowledge of your staff and being able to, give them the good guidance, to the comfort of the place and the beauty of the place that you provide for them, the hours and so forth. But the same thing is important for us with the manufacturers. We were.
Kendrick, you leaving? Sorry, Shar. Kendrick,
Yeah,
you leaving?
I got a jet. It's been
Okay.
a pleasure, gentlemen.
It's good seeing you, man.
Kendrick, thank you, man.
Take your nap.
Everybody's doing good.
Sorry,
Okay.
Shar.
We one of the things I've noticed going through the past 8 weeks, getting a lot of profit, getting rid of some of the lines that been carried. We were the original boutique store in Las Vegas 8-9 years ago. Nobody else really carried boutiques. At the end of the day, I've kind of got a different perspective now on the manufacturers that I'm working with, and I'm valuing the ones that are consistent and I know are just going to be there. I don't know how else to say it. It's it's huge. It's huge versus the ones that are, I had a call yesterday, somebody looking for a cigar that we've always carried that we don't carry anymore. And I actually got on the phone with her and I said, listen, we're never going to carry them again. Here's why. And I was able, at the end of that call, she came down and picked up like 10 other cigars because I was able to explain to her, look, this is the way the business works. And that's important, so you guys keep doing what you're doing, because no one's been more consistent, at least in our lifetime of 9 years, than Tatuaje. And there's a few others, your buddies at Padron are consistently
Great family.
Great family, they do it right. But then you got some big names that are inconsistent. They're not consistent. Right. And it's their business. I'm not going to tell them how to run it, but it doesn't mean, we're in a business of 31 flavors. I don't need all 31 flavors on my shelf to be able to give a great experience to my customers and have a business. So I'm picking out my flavors after this.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man, we have to count on you as much as you count on us. And it's important that for us, especially, that we have a consistent client base that cares about our product, but we actually have to show them, you guys, in return, that we're serious about what we do. And we're very fortunate because we work with what I consider one of the best factories in the world. Well, actually multiple factories that the Garcias own. So we're able to get great products, but at the end of the day, we need to be able to supply that. And we've run into some supply chain issues with things like wrapper from Connecticut broadleaf that have hurt us a lot for distribution. I mean, we just don't have the product because we're literally waiting for the broadleaf to be cured. And we're looking at potentially that broadleaf that we're waiting on really not to be ready until the end of the year and then going into next year. And the reality is that we get some broadleaf here and there that we're able to use, and Jaime and Pepin make sure that we're able to get some of that. But in the meantime, we're still waiting on that bulk of broadleaf that Jaime and Pepin secured this year. carry us through where we can actually have a lot of the products that we're missing right now back on the shelf.
Yeah, and it's on us as retailers to try and explain to the customers these issues. I mean, we're reliant upon manufacturers who are reliant upon a crop.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, not everything grows the same every year. And even if you get a crop of broadleaf, doesn't mean it's good enough to use on your cigar.
True.
So,
Yeah, we were worried about this year because you know, this is the season for Connecticut broadleaf, and this is the season for them to start getting their seed houses ready. From pictures I've seen, people are getting their seed houses ready, but it's really about labor in Connecticut Valley and getting people in the farm to plant all these seeds or these seedlings into the farm. If they're not able to plant them, which I'm hoping they will be, and I'm sure they'll find a way, we're not going to see a crop from Connecticut this year. I think we're in a good spot right now, and I think people are moving forward with their lives carefully, obviously. And I believe that we'll be able to get that supply and to carry us through, you know, the next few years. Which again, when Jaime is purchasing 79,000 pounds of broadleaf, that's going to carry anybody that he works in the factory with that uses broadleaf for a good amount of time. But we need to have continuous years of good supply. Otherwise, we're going to have another drought. So that's Paul, you mentioned it. It's a lot of things that consumers don't really care to hear about. They just want the product. And the reality is it's not always the case.
Right. Not just the consumer. I have retailers I've explained it to that don't freaking get it.
I mean, our hope is that they can find a way to shift gears a little bit while we're all struggling and support us as much as we want to support everybody back. So, well, did I just bring the conversation down? This sucks.
Wow.
Yeah, you're a
Yeah.
real boner killer, man.
What an asshole.
Wow.
I was looking on Facebook to see if anybody had any actual questions, but I can't keep
one
up.
comment on that last thing though. You know.
Yeah. Actually, I have a question. Sorry, Char. Someone, Nathan Moore asked, any shop owners having problems with landlords?
Oh,
Good question.
Anybody?
So, ours has been great. Ours stepped in right away and gave us a 2-month reprieve, and we'll spread that out for 24 months afterwards. So, and without that, I tell you what, without that intervention, the math doesn't look too good. You know, the math on the business doesn't look too good without that. So, ours has stepped up really big, and ours is a small commercial landlord. He's got a mortgage on this property. 2 of the very big businesses that are next to us closed up shop and cleared out in the last 4 weeks.
wow.
So, yeah, I mean, surprising. U-Swirl yogurt place, right? I mean, really surprising to me. They've been there for 16 years. But no, ours has stepped up big time, and same with the other location as well.
Well, Shar, you do not have my permission to shut down. You're one of my favorite places to visit when I'm out there in Las Vegas, man. Like,
Hey, my humidor needs a reorg. When are you coming back?
What's that?
I said my humidor needs a reorg. When are you coming back?
And talk to Joel. I usually only travel out there with him.
My personal driver.
Lenny came to Sahara and cleaned up Mike's humidor, which needed to be. We hadn't managed to convince him to do that in 3 years, but Lenny came and organized the shit out of it a while back, right?
I don't remember doing that. I don't remember doing that. But you know, that being said, you guys do have a dispensary right in your parking lot, so that could be the reason why I don't remember it.
Hey, Sean.
Yeah.
Are the dispensaries open?
The dispensaries were shut down the same time we were.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
They've been on the same. They've been on the same trajectory as us.
Let me know when they open up. I'll come see you.
People must be going crazy.
No, there are other states where that was an essential business.
Yeah.
It was like a liquor store.
Colorado.
Yeah.
You know,
Our
our
because I had no customers who were.
I'll just leave it at that. Our governor went really hardcore, and a lot of people are crediting that as the reason why it hasn't spread that much to Nevada, but he went very hardcore. So.
Anyone got anything else for Pete?
No, but I do have something for you.
Uh-oh.
I was thinking earlier today, like if someone was really good at Photoshop, they could make you a lot shorter and a lot fatter, and you would look just like Steve Saka.
Wow.
Or by the same token, they could make him taller and thinner, and he would look like you.
Any other questions for Pete? Just kidding, Paul. I'm shaving my beard off. Oh, or maybe I'll just dye it like all you guys do.
Is there a new surrogate line coming this fall? The Dan Squatch?
No, I've got literally nothing to say on this topic.
Ask Steve. I'm sure he has something to say. He always seems to have something to say.
He's watching right now, actually.
Hey, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Nope, no comments.
No, there's a few people laughing their ass off.
We'll have to read about it on Facebook tomorrow.
I hope I didn't offend anybody.
Yeah, you guys can all share this.
Hey, we always get off these things hoping that we don't offend. That's why we always rewatch them to make sure we didn't offend someone.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's live, so it doesn't matter. It's a tight industry, right?
It is.
It is.
So Pete, I did smoke a Tatuaje the other day that I personally haven't smoked in probably 2 or 3 years, and we've always carried it, and we do really well with it. But it blew my socks off. So I'll throw that out as a last comment. The RC series, holy shit!
Oh, the 184 or the 233?
The bigger one.
Oh, the Diadema.
Yes.
Yeah, man. That's rolled by one lady in the Miami factory, and it's something that we make approximately 2,000 cigars a year. It's not a big production. So that's 200 boxes of 10. And obviously it's a celebration cigar, and it's something that people pick up to celebrate life or celebrate an anniversary or a Super Bowl.
I want to celebrate.
Yeah, we all want to celebrate something.
Paul, when this opens back up, I have 2 or 3 left from like 2009. Maybe we should all get together and smoke one.
Oh, wow.
Let's
do it.
I'll drive to Phoenix and smoke with you. I'll bring my own.
Yeah.
Let's make it a party.
It's excellent.
That's a hidden gem, and honestly, it's rare to see it. So it's usually it goes to retailers that know about it, and because again we don't make a lot of them, and when we do, it's first come first serve. So the fact that you're picking them up is actually a pleasure for us, but a bonus for your customers because they're getting something that's like really truly made for a small amount of people. I mean, 2,000 cigars a year is not a lot.
How do I know when it's time?
Oh, right.
Yeah. I can tell you we don't have many in stock right now, but usually when we do, they've already have some age on them before they even leave the door. So
excellent, Joel. We'll have to put an order in.
I'll put it in right now. I already did.
I already texted him. I just ordered all of them.
What else? Anything?
I got nothing.
I got nothing.
We want more
Perhaps.
drinking age.
Yeah. You know, I was just talking about that cigar the other day. Actually, I had a weird,
that was
crazy
very
dream about this
popular. We
cigar.
still get calls about that cigar, still to this day.
Well, you know what's funny about that cigar? I think it got more hype a year later. Like
Definitely.
people were looking for it a year later.
Also, probably after you announced no more store exclusives, I noticed there was a little interest after that as well. So
Yeah, I mean, I'll explain that. So the whole deal with the store exclusives, when I did it, I did too many in 1 year. I did 5, which I thought was way too many. And now I've been hit up by a lot of those guys. So let me preface this a little bit. The greatest thing about the store exclusives that we used to do now, they're all going in to submission for substantial equivalence. So they're all going to be registered, and we can always bring them back. But I have a rule now that not one store is allowed to get fat off of it. I think this is an industry that cares a lot about its surroundings, and it cares, you know, a lot of retailers like you guys care about how each one of you guys are doing. And we do. I would rather make that cigar again and offer you like a certain amount of boxes that you guys are able to sell. And about, 4 weeks later, I offer, out of the same production, I offer another group of retailers that same cigar. So I don't allow one retailer to have the benefit from it. I spread it out as much as possible.
that's perfect for us. Just let us know when, man. We're on board, We'll do it.
Yeah, I'm into the community of cigars and not just the who's got the bigger penis.
Yeah, for sure.
And by that he means pocketbook.
Even though that matters.
And I'm probably stating the obvious, Pete, but anytime we've been able to get our hands on anything special or limited from what we consider our core brands, such as Tatuaje, we always use that to sell the core stuff. That's kind of always been my strategy. It's not, it's not about, I got 30 boxes in of so-and-so and it's rare, so let me go maximize that sale. It's literally been, how do I get those 30 boxes to move 300 boxes of Tatuaje? That's the strategy. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm stating the obvious here. I got master retailers on here, been at it a lot longer than I have, but I feel like it helps. So what you're saying, the way you want to do this, should help all of us, right?
Yeah.
The majority of the stores I deal with try to do that in one respect or another. And that's why we try and spread it around to different retailers when that stuff comes up within our territory. So not everybody gets it every single time. We're trying to spread it around.
It makes some customers mad, but they have to understand, if you're out looking for drinking age and you want to buy 10 boxes of them, you should be supporting the core line. If you don't support the core line, if you don't already have a rotation of Tatuaje in your smoking category, then you don't have any business smoking the super hard to find stuff anyways. I think you need to support the line before you go and try to find the hard to find stuff.
No, it's important. It's important for us to have a consumer base that really appreciates the core line, and I think we've been able to show it pretty consistently over 17 years. There are still people that smoke brown labels made in Miami as their daily smoke, and the other ones are supposed to be like the on occasion. Yeah, I mean, I don't want Tatuaje to be known as a limited edition company. I want Tatuaje to be known as a brand that can be sustaining in a store every day of the week, with the occasional fun spike to the brand name. And that's where, like the monsters come in, that we do the monsters. I mean, The reality is I could make 200,000 monsters, but I choose to make 50,000 because I want the product to move through continuously throughout the year until the next monster comes out. Right. But at the end of the day, when they're looking for a solid, good smoke, I want them to be smoking something we make every day of the week. Because a lot of times, a lot of these limited editions are based off of something we already done. So it's easy to find as much pleasure out of a regular production cigar that you do out of a limited edition. The problem is a lot of people look at limited editions like, oh, it's got a different band on it, so it must be really special. But that's not always the case. It's really just about having something fun in the portfolio to sell.
And Lenny, the other part of that is that, you know, you said, you know, they should be smoking Tatuaje. I'll argue also they should be supporting you as a retailer in order for you to be, you know, servicing their addiction to have, you know, said release, right? And Monster is the best example of that. Like whenever any of you guys have been the Unlucky 13.
Everybody's been the Unlucky 13 here at one point.
All right. So the reason is because you've supported the core lines of the brand, like period, right? And so, yeah, I mean, there's only 13 retailers in the country that got those, right? So the very first thing you get is your phone is ringing off the hook. But like if you save those for your local customers, you obviously have enough local customers that's the reason you were the Unlucky 13. People get all perturbed at you guys as retailers because every once in a while someone will say, well, you know, they're in-house only. Like you got to show up at the door at least, right? To me, that's like the best strategy. Now, if you don't go through them all, then make a list and make phone calls, right?
I do have a question. I do have a question from a friend over in Switzerland. He wants to know if any of you guys are able to send cigars outside the country. Anybody that's doing mail order, have you shipped any cigars to anybody to another country?
We don't normally do it, but I'd be willing to look into it. I think other than the shipping being astronomical, does anybody know if there's any
Canada?
laws
You can ship to Canada as long as the person receiving the product's willing to pay the tax.
Yeah.
There are customs documents involved in international shipping. I haven't done any for a long time.
There are a few international companies or countries where you are literally not allowed to send any tobacco product, whether it's commercial or you're just sending it to a friend. Period. Not allowed to do it. I
think the only time it's ever worked is when you're shipping to an APO.
Right.
Which could be in a different country, but it's automatically designated as a U.S. territory. So.
Yeah. Well, so officially, even if you're sending to a soldier in, so if it's one of the Arab countries that don't allow alcohol and tobacco, you're officially not allowed to send that to a U.S. soldier at an APO address because that's where their battalion is located currently. Which that one I find total BS because
we even have a few states here in the United States you can't ship tobacco to, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
Brandon,
that's correct.
You
that's
can't
correct.
ship to Utah, right?
You cannot order online in Utah if you're a consumer. You're not ordering online. You have to shop brick and mortar.
But you can ship in state, correct?
Well, technically, the way the law is written, no, I can't ship to a Utah address because the transaction has to take place at the brick and mortar.
Oh, that's the way it's written. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I can ship. There's no problem shipping, but how are you going to pay for it?
Right. Gotcha. So yeah, overseas is tough. And as Lenny said, it'd probably be astronomical anyways.
My friend Laurent, who lives in Switzerland, says it's allowed here in Switzerland to order cigars from out of the country.
Thank you, Laurent.
What's the duty going to be on their end when they get it?
Exactly. What are they going to have?
Said duty.
Hey, Laurent, if you're listening, is there a duty for you to receive cigars? Let's see if he comments. I don't believe so.
I hope he
because
says you said duty.
I know a lot of guys
Yeah,
in
he
Switzerland.
said duty.
I know a lot of guys in Switzerland that actually will drive into Italy and buy cigars because in Italy you can't ship cigars at all.
Right.
They'll drive into Italy, buy like a buttload of cigars, and then ship them back to the United States. And that's where you see a lot of cigars that are coming back in the United States that were made exclusively for countries like Italy.
And Germany.
They're all coming back through. Yeah.
Tell
Fausto?
Laurent that I offer to get on a plane and deliver it to him. You know how I like
There
that?
you go.
They probably
He says yes, but we have a small duty. Then there's the word duty again. But Laurent, I don't know if you heard, but Shar said he is willing to get on a plane
and deliver.
Probably the cheapest it is right now to go.
Wherever you want me.
Yeah, right.
I went to business school in Montreux, so absolutely.
Nice.
Oh, and trust me, Shar, if you go to Switzerland and you meet up with Laurent, he'll show you the best time in the world. Because he's a wine connoisseur, he's a cigar connoisseur. He'll take care of you. Trust me.
I want to go. I love Swiss Miss hot cocoa.
Is that like saying we like quesadillas? So we want to go to Mexico.
Hey, so I know because Scott Pierce from the PCA is watching. Is everybody a PCA member?
Yes.
I am.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
we are.
so everybody, like Sally, looks over his shoulder. Yeah, we are.
Just double check. You know what I mean? You never know what might have changed.
I know for a fact that you guys are. And that goes back to the conversation about the PCA only cigars. Obviously, we're probably going to be shifting gears. And those cigars, again, we plan on offering them to the people that we do these chats with. And they're a small production, just available for people that would have attended. But I have a feeling that based on your location that you guys all would have attended. So I don't have to worry about that.
I don't know about Mike and Shar. It's a
Yeah, I
hassle.
was going to say Mike and Char might not show up.
Yeah, that's like a 15-minute drive, man. I don't know how they do that.
Scott said he's from Utah.
Last year we couldn't attend. I was in Florida during that week, and Mike was not. He was out of town too, so we missed it last year. But no, we're there. Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, Shar, Laurent said that for sure we can bring some lovely bottles.
I look forward to it. Look forward to it. You know, Switzerland has some amazing wines. They have such a small quantity of production that they hardly export any of it, right? But the Swiss wines are phenomenal, really good.
All right, that's another reason to go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, trust me, I'm itching to go. I was supposed to be in Italy right now. Actually, no. At the end of May, was it May? No, May I was supposed to be in Spain. June I was supposed to be in Italy, for work. I mean, not so much for pleasure, but well, I mean, anytime you call this work, there's something wrong with you, right, Paul?
Yeah. Never work.
Thanks for taking that bullet and working so hard for us, Pete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Well said, Joe.
the fact that I was able and blessed enough to be able to like be asked to come to, to travel over to Italy or Spain to do events for retailers over there and our distributors over there. You're really fortunate. But I'll tell you, my first trip to Italy with one of my distributors was like the world's fastest tour of Italy ever. I saw from the bottom of the country to the top of the country in 5 days.
Get a chance to go to Sicily at all? I have family there.
No, that's one place I want to go.
Beautiful island. Definitely check it out.
Yeah, I want to go to Noto and
Go to Etna. Go check out the
Cafe di
volcano.
Sicilia.
Yeah, you drink coffee standing up in Italy.
Yeah,
They charge you extra to sit down.
That's a good
You know
model
what I
for a
loved
cigar
about-
store.
You know what I loved about
Yeah.
walking through. I was in Naples with the family, and and we were walking through, and I saw like an espresso or whatever, an espresso bar, but
in
not
Italy
only do they have espresso, but they have like a big selection of Amaros behind the bar, and I'm like, okay, give me a shot of espresso and give me a shot of Amaro.
Yeah, they call it digestivo.
Yeah.
Digestivo, yes.
Yeah. But in Italy, they won't even serve you anything with milk after noon. If you ask for anything other than an espresso after noon, they won't even serve it to you. I mean, maybe now because of tourism, but before they would look at you like you were crazy having milk after noon. And then other thing I was going to bring up to my fellow tobacconist here, the Blue Banded cigar that everyone was asking for, was a Cuba Cuba. That's the Blue Banded cigar that they were looking for. Trust me.
Hey, and so I always like to talk about this. Like you brought up Cuba Cuba, and I always joke that one night I was sitting with Steve Saka, and he was telling me about Cuba production. And this is when he was with Drew Estates, and he told me the number that they make every month of Cuba Cuba. And I told him, I said, listen, man, I'll trade you my whole company for just Cuba Cuba. Yeah. It's that large. So if you think about production levels, we're definitely a lot smaller.
Yeah.
Pete, you want to mention the Monster for this year?
No, talk about the MBS.
Yeah, the MBS. You guys will.
Yeah, they go together.
Yeah.
The MBS is short for Monster Bomb Squad. It doesn't have anything to do with a Saudi Prince, which someone asked me about.
Or an energy drink.
I guess there is a Saudi Prince that goes by MBS, but it has nothing to do with him. And it's based off of the Monster series, and it's like a little Kruger bomb. And we have 1,800 10-packs of these cigars. It was all based off of extra bands that I had in the factory. So 1,800 10-packs will be coming out sometime in June for you guys. You guys on this call will be offered the product along with the last call we had and anybody else that we move forward with. It's going to be one of those things for 4th of July, of course. So hopefully we'll see a better time moving forward at the end of the month, and then June you can actually order cigars and not have to worry about getting arrested.
And then in the fall?
In the fall, we have a spin-off of Boris, which is called Karloff. It's actually a little bit beefed up blend of the original Boris, and the size is a slight change, and it's called Karloff, and they'll be coming in most likely in boxes of 13. I haven't even made the decision yet, but they'll be available to everybody. There won't be an unlucky 13. This will be the interim moving forward into 2021 when we actually have Broadleaf back again and we can reintroduce Frank.
Yay.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So we have a lot in the plans for future years, and of course, this all depends on a lot of the substantial equivalence thing because Frank was right after the FDA deadline of grandfathered product, but the way that we've structured the template that a lot of us are using, we should manage through this substantial equivalence thing pretty easy.
Yeah, Pete, don't look at Lauren. We won't mention that. Anyways, Sumatra, great cigar. It's gonna be everybody's new favorite.
Yeah, it is for sure.
And 13 count boxes for all would be great.
Yeah. What was the question?
No, I was saying Sumatra's always been a hot seller for us.
Yep.
7th Kappa, and that's kind of what we're telling everybody about the new TAA. It's got a Sumatra wrapper, so all of our 7th Kappa fans have been jumping on it and loving it. So
yeah, you can see that I've gone through kind of phases with wrapper. This is kind of like my year of Sumatra. TA Sumatra, we did the Little Boris and the CQ2 last year. The year before that, obviously, with 2019, we had a lot of San Andreas product come out. It was my way to avoid broadleaf because I kind of foresaw the problems with the broadleaf supply, and I avoided making broadleaf product just to save the factory the time to answer me with a big no. I decided to shift my production to other resources. But I'm thankful that I believe that next year we'll be healthy with broadleaf and we can bring a lot of stuff back. So
nice,
including 8-baller, which we haven't seen in a long time.
Yep.
Joel, do you have anything to say to close us out?
I just want to thank all my retailers for joining us, my friends, and I look forward to getting up there and seeing all you guys. I just can't wait to get back on the road.
Hey,
yeah,
Joel,
I have rooms at home to paint.
Are you using this platform though, in general, to contact your retailers, or are you just getting on the phone with them?
I'm pretty much just getting on the phone. Mainly manufacturers have been using this platform for meetings, but I'm looking at trying to use it for some places that I'm not getting to as often as I'd like, especially now. But I've been going and seeing retailers for the last 10 days here locally.
nice.
Nice sticker.
Thank you.
Yeah, we actually, I mean, honestly, again, if we don't have a trade show, we plan on doing a broadcast like this on Facebook and you know, to our customers. Hopefully a lot of our customers will log on to the Facebook thing, but and to the YouTube to introduce the new products that were supposed to come out to the trade show. Again, certain things will probably be kept under wraps because we'll want to offer the people that have been on these chat rooms with us. But I think it's a good platform for us to show off product that we're hoping to come out with in the near future. And then again,
Makes
it's
sense.
also a good way to see everybody.
And you don't have to wait for the trade show or the TAA. You know, we can do it quarterly or whatever it is.
Yep.
It's more interactive.
Yeah, I think moving forward that we're going to be doing more of these just to see people we always, you know, there's a lot of times we just can't get on a plane to go see someone, and it's actually kind of nice to be able to get on these platforms. We've done a couple of virtual events with retailers where they invited their local supporters, and it was private to just their supporters in the retail store, and it's been really refreshing. We've also done educational private platforms of where we've gone on with a retailer that had multiple staff that wanted to learn a little bit more about the product. So it's a great tool for all of us to use right now.
Yeah, I mean, use it to re-emphasize core line too.
Right.
And you could do 2 hours on brown label or red label.
Yep.
Yeah.
And tell people why they should be smoking more of them.
Yep, that's in the plans as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
and
put
again, it's
all
an
of,
invite. It's an invite to all you guys. If you have staff that you want to get on a phone call or a Zoom call with us privately, and you have staff where they're at home or, you know, in their bathroom, we don't care. If you want to get on a call with all of us and just kind of ask questions about the product line, it's a good teaching experience. And we all have a lot of time right now, so we're more than willing to do it.
Yep.
For sure.
Awesome.
So Shar, during this whole time where you've been shut down, if you have a core group of people that buy Tatuaje, that support your store and buy our products also, that you want to get us on a Zoom call with us, you know, we're more than able to do that.
Yeah,
And
locker members.
yeah,
Awesome.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you come up with an idea, we can sit down and have a good conversation, a couple drinks and a few cigars.
I'll take you guys up on that. My private members, especially, you know, when I think of them, they're they're not a consistent smokers of Tatuaje, but they should be. So we'll put something together for them, and we'll focus on I'll talk to Joel. We'll focus on a couple of different cigars. We'll put a pack together for them.
Yeah, so everybody's smoking something within that same
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely. Great
Again,
idea.
that's an invite to everybody. I mean, again, we have the time and we have the ability to do it now. I mean, again, before this whole thing started, you know, we heard about Zoom, but we never used it.
Yeah.
So it's a nice platform for all of us to utilize. What was that, Paul?
You guys broke my Zoom cherry today.
I missed that. What was that?
You broke my Zoom cherry today.
He was a virgin.
There you go.
Pete invested in Zoom stock. That's why he's pushing it.
I wish I did.
Yeah, right. Right.
Hey,
actually, you know the
Paul
one I
and
wish
Joel,
I,
are you
I
guys
would have
holding
invested.
hands?
Yes.
The one I wish I invested in was Wayfair.
Yeah.
Really?
Wayfair went down to like $29 a share, and they went up to like $180 today.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Go shopping. What else are you gonna do?
I'm gonna
Yeah,
have
but
to.
how much furniture do you really need, Joel? Come on.
Right.
Yeah. Plus,
Like,
I just got to
they're-
throw them under the bus because I cannot stand Wayfair commercials. Like I will literally flip to any other channel just to avoid it. Not that I ever watch anything live, but
Yeah,
Well,
their stock
Dan,
is
their
down.
commercials
Dan.
are the reason why their stock dropped in the first place. We
yeah,
all just sat here and go, "Oh, that I'm not going to buy that."
it's like Wayfair. You've got nothing that I need.
Stay in your lane, Dan. When I have an opinion on a head razor, I'll ask.
I'm a little particular about things like that.
Just like that. Just things like that.
Just things
Yeah,
like
you know
that.
what?
I mean, not other more general things.
Let's forget about the stock market and let's invest in ourselves and each other and move forward. And hopefully we move forward healthy.
Knock
There
on
you
wood.
go. That sounds like a good closer.
Amen.
There you go.
Be
All right,
safe,
guys.
Everybody, appreciate seeing everybody.
Good time, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all again.
One day I'll get back to your stores.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
All right,
guys.
man.
Be good, guys.
Take care, guys.